When you look at it as being the competitor, you talk about like, I was dedicating myself to be the best in the world. A lot of times when you start that journey, you're like, I'm going to be the best in the world, or I dream of being the best in the world. Do you remember the transition when you were like chasing the dream to where you knew you were living the dream? You're like, no, I have found the recipe for success. Like, I understand how to perform consistently, where it became, instead of being the hopeful champion, you became the confident champion. Is like, I know I'm going to win. Was there a point in your life where it kind of transitioned?
Uh, no, it's more of the path, because when I made that decision, I was nobody. I mean, my jiu-jitsu was nothing. I was like below average of people my age group. Like at that moment on, any tournament I would sign in, I would lose. I wasn't that kind of kid. Okay, I'm already good, so I'm just gonna follow that path, and it's as I progress and I'll carry on being good. No, I was not. I wasn't winning everything. I was like in and out of tournaments a little few, for past few years, but nothing big. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. But usually kids of my age that they already like training, they were like all better than me. It took me a long time to actually be good, to really be good. But I never gave up. When I started, I would say when I got like 15, 16 years old, I'm like, man, I'm going to be the best in the world. But I knew that's a long path. I'm a 16-year-old kid. Let's say the professional, when you actually go against the best in the world, that's when you're a black belt. Because before that, you're color belt. You're amateur because you're not
Yeah.
a black belt. You don't fight with the elite. So I know I'm gonna get there. So this is just my path. So it's not really. I never really thought I need to be better now. I need to win everything now. It's like I never really care about winning or losing. Of course, I hate losing more than I like winning, by the way. Like
Yeah.
it's winning, of course, everyone likes winning, but my thing is like I cannot lose. Losing for me is terrible. But
Yeah.
I've never I just accepted what I was. It's like I need to train, and I was like coming back. I think it was the idea that I never left my mind. It was like I'll be the best in the world, but I never gave any time in it. It's that's a lifetime achievement. It doesn't matter. I remember being a blue belt, looking up. Black belts were champions smashing me. I'm like, it's okay to lose. I mean, it was like, it's normal. I never cared about losing. I never felt frustrated. I've never felt bad by losing to anyone. I was like, it's a learning process. You beat me today, I'm back tomorrow and we'll train again and we'll train again and we'll train again. And I never gave up. And I've never felt frustrated with a loss. It's, I mean, it's even as a black belt, okay, I lost. It's like, damn, I gave my best, I lost. I'm still in my path. It's even like mid 20s. I'm still in my path. It doesn't matter. I just need to train more to be better. The one thing I always knew for certain, it's the only way to be good is training. You want to be good, you have to train and dedicate. There's no secret. People asking me, it's funny, they think there's like a secret training in the Gracie family, like we hide things they discuss between us and like no one gets in the room, just us.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist. It's a myth.
Yeah.
it's, a, it's the only way to be good at is train. You need to train. So I never gave up. I would say I felt that I was not a natural talent, but I knew I had something because like at that time when I was training, Gracie Baja back then, it was one of probably the strongest academy at the time, if not one of the strongest for sure. Some people they might argue otherwise, but it was one of the very top. You walk around the mat, there's 30 black belts, 15 of them are world champion. There's 50 brown belts. There's like so many tough people to train. And you win, you lose, it doesn't matter. But they're like everybody was training daily, everyone trying to be the champion, everyone trying to improve and to win the next tournament. And I'm one of them. And I felt my progress. I was catching up with everyone ahead of me, and everyone that was my level, suddenly they can catch me. And that I felt. That's like my progress. It was slowly, I was catching everyone. That I always felt. And I'm like, then I felt this is my path. Even that there is a faraway dream, but I always felt I'm progressing. I'm going somewhere. I never felt that I hit a wall, because some people, they have a bad day and they're like, oh my God, I had a bad day. This is a nightmare. I'm going to stop training. I mean, I had many bad days, but it doesn't matter. I train tired. You go for a conditioning session and then you're going to train with someone. Of course, I'm not going to perform. You cannot expect to perform well every day. And I never expected. So I never felt bad when I lost. When I tapped somebody at the gym, I tapped many times. I mean, until I became good, like people look at me and say, this kid is good. So I start getting in the level of the elite, It took
Yeah.
me years of getting smashed, getting beat up, getting tapped every single session many times. I never cared. I mean, I'm learning. The one thing for me, I always enjoy training. It's, when you're losing, I always liked it because losing is part of it. It's part of the game. I never care about losing. I was like, I made a mistake. Let's go again. He
Do
catch me.
you remember?
Let's go
Do you
again.
remember when you kind of made that jump of like trying to be one of the top guys, and then one day you were like, you know what? Maybe I am one of the top guys. I mean, like, was there a tournament or a competition or even just a training day, or was there a time in which you kind of were like, you know what? I'm starting to achieve my goal. Like, I'm starting to be the elite level performer. Was there any realization that ever happened of, man, I'm one of the top guys in the world now?
It wasn't one moment because that is a process that happened slowly. By everything happens in baby steps. It takes it's like I say, it's years for you to be good. And you slowly you're getting better. So what you're saying, I felt because I remember, being a blue belt, the black belts kills you, and they already there. So your progress as a blue belt to black is a huge gap. But those that they are already on the top on the black belt, it's a very slow process. Their process is very slow. But as a blue belt, as a beginner, you have a long way to catch up. In the time, and I felt getting closer and closer to them. So it wasn't one moment that was, suddenly I trained with someone and say, oh, I got this guy. Because that doesn't happen it's not in a week.
Yeah.
It's suddenly people that they'll tap in me a few times a session, a few times a training. And then they tap me a few less, and a few less, and a few less. And suddenly I get it one time, I'm like, oh, yes. But, and then he carry on catching, it's something that it doesn't happen in one go. So I felt getting closer and closer. And the thing that I never felt, suddenly I stopped progressing. So for me, I always over even as a black belt, if you looked at my the two last times I competed at the Worlds, 2009 and 2010, my performance was much better than the first twice that I competed at the Worlds. Like my fights were very hard, like I barely tapped anyone. And then the last time, so ever since like a 16-year-old, 15-year-old, it's always, I always felt getting better, always. And I always wanted to get better. And even at the highest level, I was still, I'm like, I just need to get a bit better. I need to get a bit better. That's why I never stopped. That's why I think I achieved the level I am today, because I always try to improve, always improve in small things like, mount, escape, side control, things that people neglect. They focus too much in competition mode, points, sweeps. They need to develop that best sweep to win a tournament. I mean, sweep is a small part of the game,
Yeah.
For me, it's more important that I know how to submit you when I get to that position than, focusing, just one sweep. Sweep, I get swept almost every fight. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you get takedown. That cannot be your focus. Focus the finish. How do I finish the fight? That was my focus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you've definitely proven that. I mean, because over the years, everybody's like, when you hit full mount, everybody knows what's coming, and the true mastery of technique, when you look at guys that play and do jiu-jitsu, is whenever it's not when you get caught with something you didn't see. Like, that's always appreciated and that's cool, but it's when you get caught with something you see coming but you can't stop it, and that goes back to mastery of the technique, of just you control all the details, the position. And when you were competing, was there like a certain plan or structure that you were looking for, as far as like, here's the key points for me to make happen what I need to happen? Was there like a few anchor points that you would look for, or was it always reactive of like, whatever you feed me, I just find a way around?
Always reactive, to be honest. I never ever set a strategy. Never. It's like, I need to fight this way. I've never changed the way I fight to anyone, regardless of, the only thing that was like, okay, I need to think of something is, we're gonna fight the guy who has a great judo, great takedowns, and I'm crap. Of course, I gotta pull guard. That was the only thing. I never really care if the guy has a great guard and I have to pull before him. I need to pass. We're fighting. I need to win. So the idea of fighting, how I saw fighting jiu-jitsu, it's, I need to, for me to be the best, I need to win. It's a simple fact. There's no other way to prove you're the best. If you lose, you need to win. And the only way that you can make a statement like, I'm the best, there's no doubt about it, is through submission. Because I remember in the early, in my early belts, I was not that good yet. So I wasn't submitting everyone. So every fight is a fight. It's there and back, there and back. And when I start getting good, start winning a lot more. But it was still hard fights. Every belt, blue belt, a lot of the fights, even the times I won world champion, I won the world championship. I had crazy hard fights. It was never easy. Purple belt, crazy hard fights. So I just was not good enough to submit them. It was just the way it was, but I was still trying. But it's fighting for me is like, I need to win. And the referees, they was always against me, by the way. And I think that's one of the things I was like, I need to submit my fights. Because if there's a question, it's against me. Always.
Yeah.
Always. If there's always a doubt about it, I knew it's against me. Like, I got booed so many times, the referee, anything that they favor me, or even that I suppose, there was like my points. But there was a question about it, man, the whole state was like, ooh.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I need to submit. I need to. So every time I fight someone, it doesn't matter if you're going to pull guard or if I pull guard. Because if I pull guard, if I sweep, what happened? I'm in your guard. I still need to pass. So it makes no difference. For me, never made any difference what I am in the fight, It's like, and for me to submit someone, and, if you want to have full control of the other person, you have to get over the guard, side control, improve, mount, back. That's it. That the fight has to finish there. So that was always my goal, is trying to get as far as I can, mount or back, and then submit.